Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Crochet Patrons. So guys, in today's video I'm gonna share something about crochet art. This is really important thing in crochet. These are little square called granny square. The granny square first made its debut in 1891. In It wasn't until 1897, however, that was written pattern was published in Walden Practical Needlework. The pattern was surprisingly similar to the one we commonly use today. The only difference that the granny clusters on the first one only contain 2 double crochet as opposed to 3. Other than that, it is the same as the granny square we are familiar with today's patterns. Guys, you may be wondering why they are called granny patterns, granny squares. They acquired this name for a couple of reasons. Grannies were typically the ones who made them the most, and you don't need great eyesight to make them. In fact, you don't need even a eyesight at all. The granny square was so popular among Americans and so associated with America that as Europe it was called American crochet. This is an art that is constantly evolving, what has allowed these motifs to survive over 100 years. Its longevity can probably be attributed to its many benefits and uses. Granny squares are easily economical, well known, portable, and allow you to experiment with colors and stitches. They also allow you to play with different combinations of colors and stitches without investing a lot of time and yarn into a project only to find you hate a stitch with when worked in certain colors and despise a particular color combination. These squares are so easy, they are one of the most common projects for new yarnists or new crocheters, so even a beginner can quickly experience the rush of a finished object. The most basic square is typical for 6 inches, worked in just a few rounds. Using scraps, regardless of color, allowed crocheters of old to use yarn they otherwise couldn't have used. The practice also inevitably led to the almost guided bursts of unlikely color praising, usually bordered with black. Yarn in 1891 was much more precious and scarce to that yarn today. They couldn't just pop on down to their local yarn store whenever they felt like it is ordered online. Even if they could have, they were unlikely to have the money. Those grannies and granny squares were the ultimate yarn stash busters. So, okay, you have taken the plunge and made your first granny squares. Now what? What do you do with them? Pretty much whatever you want, depending on the fiber. You'll talk about selecting the right fiber in a bit. Let's say you have used cotton yarn. If your granny squares is roughly 4 inches across, you've already got a coaster, or a few depending on how many you made. If it's a bit larger, you have a washcloth or dishcloth. You can use squares of any size and even combine squares of different sizes to make a blanket. If you have made itty bitty one, you can use them to create a picture on a pillow, blanket or more. This is commonly called pixel art. This pixel art project by I Love Knot is a great example. These projects are typically called projects because the small squares and up acting for the project as pixel do for a picture in image. You can even make clothes with them. The more popular article are shawls, ponchos and jackets. You can see some of the henna granny projects showcasing with different designs of the granny further in this video. Earlier we just watched how fiber and purpose relate. When making a granny square, you can use yarn of most any fiber, weight and corresponding hook. There are few yarns that aren't conductive to granny squares. Novelty yarn such as eyelash and boucle yarn are too textured to allow the structure of granny squares too shiny through. If you are going to use the square as a dishcloth or a similar item that needs to be absorb water and stand up, the rough and frequent use, you need to use cotton and a cotton blend. So this year, so if you would like to some inspiration, you can check this video, and time to time I'll be updating so many other ideas like this. However, if you are using them as a baby blanket, you'll want to use a soft super fine super wash wool, and wool will be blend. It also need to be easy to care for, unless course you really dislike the new parents. As you can see, the granny squares in an extremely versatile pattern with many benefits and uses. However, in issues some people encounter is their granny squares twist as it grows larger. If you encounter this issue, henna has an ingenious solution on how stop your granny squares from twisting. As I told you so many things about the granny square in this video, so now you have so many ideas and knowledge about granny square. Now go and make some square or triangle or circle, rectangle or any kind of granny square. Just go make a granny. There are so many things you can make with your granny square. Here are some of the granny projects showcasing in this video, and to get you inspired by start and creating these kind of squares are really easy to make and lovely to watch. So guys, you just need to start crocheting, and these are really easy. As I said in the video, that if you don't even have a eyesight, you can make it. That's why it is called granny square. So why are you waiting too much? You just start crocheting these kind of square and you love to make this artistic piece. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and maybe you would like to see much more like this. Please subscribe to my channel so that I can bring more items and more ideas and information about crocheting. So I just need your cooperation. Please subscribe to my channel and let me know your